Hello, Chef Marcus Guiliano here, and I'm your chef on a mission. Today's mission is running. I haven't been running much at all lately, and it's been driving me crazy. I've just been really focused on business, and so I've really been neglecting my running. I've been running 3 to 6 miles a week, if that's it. I was in Vegas for a full week, and I ran 0 miles. So I'm not proud of my running statistics. Well, there was a huge half marathon that I just got back from. Yes, I just ran a half marathon. Totally not trained for it. So I just want to talk about how I mentally prepared for something like that, because running is a mind game. Running is totally a mind game. Years and years ago, Frank Guiliano, who held the record, by the way, from running coast to coast, California to New York, set that record in 1980. It was just broken like a year and a half ago. So he held that record for many, many years. 46 days he did it in. I said to him years ago, I said, I wish I could run a marathon. He goes, why can't you run a marathon, Marcus? I go, oh man. He goes, Marcus, running's a mind game. He goes, if you can run 1 mile, just keep repeating it. You can run 26. 1 mile's like 26. You can run 1, you can run 26. Of course, the reality of it is you need to condition your body to do that. But you have to have it up here to do that, to condition it. So I ran 13.1 miles today. I did it in 2 hours and 10 minutes. I ran it with a friend. I helped pace her. I probably could have ran it in 2 hours. I could have probably broke 2 hours. Actually, I had a dream the other night. I wasn't even planning on running this race, but I had a dream the other night that I ran the race and I broke 2 hours. And I'm like, man, awesome. I can do that, because now it's part of my reality. I can do that. So I ran it with a friend who wasn't trained as well, and she was sick for 2 weeks, and she was just getting better. And so I said, you know what, I'll run with you and I'll pace you. What do you want to do, Dane? She goes, I want to do 2:10. I said, great, I'll get you in at 2:10, no problem. So half marathon was actually really easy. I paced her 2:10. Never once did I feel, like, oh, this is agony or this or that. It went by super quick. So, really, it's what you tell yourself is ultimately what's going to happen. I told myself that I can do this. This is no problem. I can do this. This is easy. Other people there were like, oh my gosh, the people are complaining and moaning, and people that have been trained much more than me were complaining. I was like, man, your complaining is just setting up your whole physiology. It's just like, you're just like now, like have set yourself up. People are saying, oh man, they were complaining before, and not many people, but I did hear some people. I mean, there's 900 people, 8,000 people that run this race, so yeah. But if you want to be a better runner, bottom line, takeaway from this, if you want to be a better runner, it starts in your mind. That's where it starts. It doesn't start with going out and running, because you can go out and run and have negative thoughts and have the worst experience, have the worst time, have the worst results, have the worst runs. But if you got it in your mind, man, it's a totally different game. And, I like running a lot. I like running distance. I like running the marathons. I've ran 8, 9 marathons. I've 10 marathons. I don't know how many marathons, a dozen marathons. Most of those being ultra marathons, meaning more than 26 miles. If you ever ran a 50 miler. For me, the part that I like about that is the mental game. Because your body starts breaking down, obviously. Your body, when you start running that far, your body's going to have aches and pains. And if you're not conditioned, the more you're conditioned, the less aches and pains you're going to get. It's the bottom line. So marathon runners, typically the training program, you run up to 20 miles. And then all of a sudden, on marathon day, most runners say, gee, I hit a wall at 20 miles. Because your mind hasn't gone through that. Your body hasn't gone through anything over 20 miles. And you're still working the negative connotations of how hard it is to run a marathon. And once you hit that mileage, so this is really a standard running regime for marathons. You train up. If you're runners, you know this. But if you're not a runner, you run, you train, you build every week. There's a certain amount of months you build up to a marathon, but you stop at 20 miles. You peak at 20 miles. You peak at 20, something like that. You never peak above. They say you should never do more. I know one runner, Todd, who says no. You want to train for a marathon? You peak at 30 miles in your training program. You've already done it. Then when you get out there and run the marathon, your body and your mind has already experienced that, because you've already been past that mileage, and that you're not going to hit a wall from that. So yeah, to avoid that runner's wall, train above. And but for me, I've never really trained above. I'm a terrible trainer. I'm terrible at going out and diligently doing this. I mean, I could sign up for a marathon and just like start training like 4 weeks ahead of time, and get a 6-mile run in, then a 10-mile run, then a 15-mile run, then a 20-mile run, and be good to go and fine. I'm not like the norm because I think differently when it comes to running. I'm just happy that I can run. As a kid, I was never a runner. I had asthma so bad that I was married to my asthma inhaler. So for me, as a kid growing up and through the 20s, I loved skiing, I loved mountain biking, but these were all, skiing was a strenuous sport because I had to pump my inhaler and I couldn't breathe. Same thing with mountain biking. So I was never an endurance. And I do have videos on how I got rid of my asthma on my YouTube. So if you're interested, because there are protocols out there that the doctor's hiding from you on how to get rid of your asthma. So yeah, my wife and I both got rid of our asthma successfully. And it's easier than you think. It's a combination of the food you're eating and the cleanliness of your bowel, detoxifying your bowel, your intestines, your digestive tract, especially your bowel. So look up on a YouTube channel for that, asthma. Search asthma, Marcus Guiliano YouTube, and you'll find how I reversed my asthma. I can't say cured because that's a word that the pharmaceutical company doesn't like anybody to use the word cured, but I reversed my asthma. So if you're a runner, it's all in here, folks. It starts in here. Then you have to apply that to the actual practice of running. And another, a super important thing, make sure you're running in the right form. Make sure you have the right shoes. There's nothing worse than having the wrong size shoe, the wrong shoe. Go to a professionally trained shoe fitter. Do not go to a big box store. Big box stores are the worst. Don't go to a Dick's. Don't go to a, Finish Line or something like that. Go to a store where the people in the store are actually runners themselves, and they're qualified people to measure your feet, because you always want to measure one size up, but depending upon how long your arch is, and there's so many dimensions. How tall your foot is another dimension that needs to be taken in. When you go to a big box store, you just plop your foot right in and measure it up, and nothing else really goes into account. Your arch and stuff like that can totally throw you up a whole nother shoe size because you have a long arch, even though your foot doesn't measure that. And the key to that is making sure you always size yourself up on shoes to begin with, because your feet swell when you run. But then the most important thing is size yourself up, but make sure your ankles are secure. If your ankles are secure in your shoe and it's not lifting out, have as much toe room as you possibly can. That's the rule. Okay, I know I was only going to talk about one thing today, but I can get going on this running thing. So yeah, and that's it. If you have any questions, comments, questions specifically for me about running, I'm not as an avid runner as I used to be. I need to lose about 20 pounds and really crank it up and really get back onto my sub 4-hour marathon pace. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. Thanks for watching. If you like my videos, please hit like, subscribe, and pass it on.
Right, I can't stop it tonight. This epidemic, I'm trying to fight. Blood pressure's rising now. It's in the danger zone. Somebody help me, I'm about to go terminal. It's an epidemic, all the clinic. It's an epidemic, all the